Well, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I wasn't expecting to do a stream today at all, quite frankly. And then last night, I discovered this. Now, I know this article kind of made the rounds yesterday, but to be honest, I was doing other stuff yesterday. Tuesdays are very busy days for me. I wasn't really paying attention. But I found out about this not when Tim Pool read it, which I've heard about, but I've not seen. Not when it was talked about by hosts on The Blaze. I found out about it when it got posted in the moms group that this author was talking about, because I happened to be in the effing moms group. And so I saw a post on Facebook yesterday in the group from the leader of the group apologizing to everyone, saying, we were infiltrated by a leftist journalist. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then I saw the article, and then I scanned through the article. I haven't read the whole thing yet. I scanned through it, and I saw I was quoted in the article. I saw this quote right here. It'll be fine, another mom wrote about the initial post, or expressed concern about the New York Times possibly misquoting her. It's a lesson I learned the hard way after the BBC screwed me. The BBC? The BBC was talking to these women? Yes. Not about this. This was referencing an interview I did with the BBC back in February about the Coke. Well, they told me it was going to be about the Coke Be Less White story. And then mid-interview, they ambushed me with stuff about January 6th, and so I hung up on them. And I have never forgotten it since. And if you want proof that this is actually me, this is a screenshot from the group in which I posted this, where I'm saying it'll probably be fine. It's a lesson I learned after the BBC screwed me. And so that is literally how I found out about this article. But I did scan it, and I did hear some stuff about it, and it seems to be pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. You know, Tuesdays are busy days. I had a stream with Frank and Paul yesterday. I had another stream with Joshua. I had a locals call. I had other stuff I had to do. I usually ignore anything I see from the Huffington Post. It's just not worth my time. The only reason I'm even paying attention to this is I know the people involved. Now, I do want to be clear. This is a Moms for Liberty group. It is the only good Moms for Liberty group. And I've been to one of their meetings. I'm a dues paying member. I'm in their Facebook group, but I want to be very clear that I'm not really actively involved. And that's not anything bad on this group. I think that this particular Moms for Liberty group is awesome. It just has to do with the fact that I'm extremely busy and I can't be involved in everything all the time. So I guess I just don't want to front that. I don't want to front saying this is my group. It's not my group. I don't want to front and say I'm actively, because I'm really not. There are many people in this group that are far more actively involved than me, but I do know some of the people involved, and I do know some of the members, and I suspect there's going to be crazy things said in this article. Am I correct, chat? Are there going to be crazy things said in this article that I'm going to be like, that doesn't sound right? So I thought this morning we'd go ahead and read this article, and I could do a little bit of a reaction, and we can talk about it because I'm sure it's insane. So that's what we're going to do. I've got my coffee. I hope you have your coffee. And we are going to work our way through it. But before we get into that, folks, please remember that I need your help and support in order to be able to do the work I do. Now, there are lots of ways that you can support me. One of the ways is that you can subscribe to this channel. You can check in every single day when I post new content, watch a video or two if it's of interest. I do post content every single day of the week, except for Saturdays, when I am normally taking the day off. Every once in a while, I'll have an archive video to post on Saturdays, but usually Saturday's a free day. Every other day, I'm posting content. And guess what, guys? In 2022, I'm going to start streaming every single day of the week, except for Saturdays, at 5 p.m. That's going to be the new streaming schedule. Monday, Tuesday, actually start Sunday for Effed Up News, because Effed Up News is important. Effed Up News is staying as is. We're going to be doing streaming on Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Wait, I don't even know the days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the special happy hour stream. Friday's stream will be exclusively on my second channel, Actively Unwoke, which you can find and subscribe to in the description below. I'm going to be doing a lot more content on Actively Unwoke next year. Kind of taking it easy for the last month, kind of, plugging back in, getting some more energy. But that will be the streaming schedule for next year. If you want to subscribe to my first channel, my second channel, you can subscribe on Odyssey, Rockfin. But the best thing you can do is join my Locals community, and especially joining it as a supporter. Now, Locals is free to join. You might as well join it while we're on the stream today. kb.locals.com, totally free. Get you ad-free videos, shows you what's going on in the community. But the best way to enjoy Locals and to be able to get the most out of it is to become a supporter, which you can do for $5 a month. You can do it for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can make a one-time gift. I do all sorts of exclusive content in my Locals. And in my Locals, we are going to be having, this is our community Zoom schedule. As it stands right now, there's going to be more added to this for 2022. So every single week in my Locals, we are going to do 2 open community Zoom calls for supporters only. We're going to be doing those calls. The first one's going to be on Monday after my 5 p.m. stream on Monday, which will be public. We're going to transition into a private, open, non-recorded, totally uncensored community Zoom where you can talk about whatever is on your mind, get support, rant about what's going on in the world and the news and all that stuff. It's the very best. I honestly, my community Zooms are the way I have survived this year. And it's a great group of people. We're going to do the same thing on Wednesdays at noon just to help people who are in different time zones all around the world. I have Locals members in England, in, I think, Germany, and in Sweden, in New Zealand. I have Locals members all over the flipping place. So we try to change those time zones up to make sure that can be accommodated. And then once a month, we're going to be doing a monthly bitchcraft or craft and bitch. And that's going to be on Saturdays. It's going to be the second Saturday of the month at 3 p.m. And you can bring whatever craft you're working on. Obviously, I'm knitting because knitting is the most superior of all crafts. Some people crochet. Some people quilt. Some people do stained glass. Some people draw. Some people paint. Some people do their laundry. Some people clean their guns. People do all sorts of things in Craft and Bitches. It's just an open time, just to chit chat, connect as a community on a Saturday. Hey, might as well. So the way you get access to those, again, is by becoming a supporter in my Locals community. We're also going to be doing small topic group discussions in my supporter Discord, which you only get access to by becoming a supporter. And guys, it really helps me out. It's what allows me to do the work I'm doing. And so I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's dig in to this here article, shall we? Yeah, I've heard about her kid. Okay, I don't want to prejudge. This is kind of a true reaction video because I just scanned this article last night. I didn't read it, but I've heard tell about her kid and that makes me feel sad. But don't spoil it. Don't spoil the article. All right, let me have a cup of coffee, then we're going to read. Yeah, dude, I know, right? Like, how do I find myself in these circumstances? Truly. This is the God's honest truth, guys. I'm like the most boring person in the world. I sit in my office all day, every day, like talking to people and answering questions and doing stuff on the internet. It's all fun and games till your group gets infiltrated by a leftist journalist and you end up being quoted in the Huffington Post. Although it is better than being quoted in Newsweek, apparently. All right. This is about a Moms for Liberty group. Yeah. And while Moms for Liberty groups are conservative, mostly, not this one. This one's more libertarian. It's the only cool I'm not speaking on behalf of Moms for Liberty, just so we're clear. I'm not happy with Moms for Liberty nationally. I love this group. This group is cool. But nationally, I'm not happy with them because they keep trying to ban books. I'm not cool with that. And they should stop. All right, let's read the article. I joined a far-right group of moms, and what I witnessed was frightening. Now, I just want to point out, like, if you want to be taken seriously as a respected journalist, just get a nice headshot, man. Listen, this headshot right here, I took this headshot in my office with my cell phone and then had it ran it through an editing program on my iPhone to make it look presentable. It's not hard. We all have the technology to do this. Just make a nice this does not scream credibility, Phoebe. Okay? Does not scream credibility. I know that on Twitter I have a picture where I'm sitting on a throne. Sometimes I have a picture where I'm wearing a crown, but that's for fun. At least those pictures are like high def. Okay? You're trying to be a credible journalist. I'm just saying. Look out for the trigger words, the woman says. She's perched on a chair in front of the room. She's well dressed yet funky, with elegant boots, a demure sweater, and colorful jewelry. Equality, diversity, inclusion, marginalization. Those words are CRT. If you see these words in your kids' homework, you need to speak out. Now, I've spoken to this specific Moms for Liberty group about CRT. That's the one meeting I went to, is they had me speak about CRT. And so if any mom in this Moms for Liberty group is saying equality is code for CRT, they weren't paying attention to the talk that I gave. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know if maybe they were confusing equity, but just so everyone's clear, equity is the word we want to be concerned about. Equality is the thing we like. Equality is equality of opportunity. Equity is equality of outcomes. Okay? Those are two completely different words. So this may be a mistake on the author's part. This may be a mistake on the mom's part. But I just want to be clear that we are fine with the word equality. Equality is not a code word for CRT. Equity, 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 equity is always a code word for CRT. Moving on. I was in a meeting held by a local right-wing moms group. It's an organization caters to mothers who are bent on protesting at school board meetings to stop the supposedly evil critical race theory agenda from being taught in public schools and address other typically conservative concerns. These groups take place in, I'm speaking for myself, not now reading the article. These groups are typically taking places in, moms' homes around their kitchen tables. This woman infiltrated a group of moms sitting around a kitchen table. Super spy, super sleuth. Critical race theory is not currently being taught in public schools. Well, that's wrong, because Phoebe, you're in New Hampshire. Phoebe, I would like to invite you on my channel so I can present you with all of the evidence that I have specifically in New Hampshire, because you wrote about a mom's group in New Hampshire. So I know you're here. And I happen to have slide deck after slide deck after slide deck of examples of critical race theory being taught specifically in New Hampshire schools. I've got Manchester. I've got Bedford. I've got Concord. I've got Nashua, now we know. I've got Holderness. I've got Exeter. I've got Dover. I have all the evidence, Phoebe. If you would like to come on my channel and peruse the evidence, if you're a real journalist, if you would like to come on my channel and peruse the evidence at any time, I will be more than happy to walk you through it. You can DM me on Twitter. There are about 20 of us. We are all maskless, all apparently white, mostly women, and all on the younger side. I'm in my early 40s. She's in her 40s? She's in her 40s. All the more reason to get a better camera, dude. And I seem to be the oldest person in the room. No, I don't think that's true. A group of children, including my son, the only one in a mask, are scampering merrily in a play area down the hall while a young woman with a baby in her front carrier keeps an eye on them. On the wall by the door of our seminar room is a sign that says children should be heard, respected, encouraged, loved, appreciated, guided with compassion, given freedom to learn without coercion. What exactly that last phrase means seems ominously vague. Oh no. So she's mad about a sign that said children should be respected and loved and encouraged? Wow. For several years now, I have been worried about this increasing right-wing views that I have noticed in my demographic, white suburban women. Before 2016, I always thought of Nazis as mainly historical villains that belonged in Indiana Jones movies or old newsreels or the sad stories my grandfather told me. Now, however, the last Holocaust survivors are dying. I'm aware that fascism is creeping back into the world at large and terrifying ways. Those terrifying ways are apparently playgroups that include children and moms that speak in school board meetings. And like, by the way, dude, like, if you brought your kid in a mask, I don't begrudge you that. You're allowed to have your kid wear a mask, I guess. It's child abuse. Like, okay, hang on a second. Did she say, yeah, her son is the only one in a mask? Phoebe, you are abusing your son. You are the one engaging in child abuse while insinuating that a woman who has a sign that said that children should be loved and encouraged and have the freedom to learn without coercion are the ominous ones. You are masking a child. For how many hours a day? My God. I wanted to know how I could fight against the appallingly stupid yet widespread dangerous information that is entrenching many of my friends and neighbors. Basic facts about COVID-19 are being dismissed by whole states as part of the liberal mainstream corporate media. Bodies from COVID victims were stacking up in ICUs and filling the morgues back in 2020, and yet I still was called a child abuser by people on the streets because I made my son wear a mask. You made your kid wear a mask outside where it is statistically impossible to get COVID, and you're wondering why some people might have a problem with watching you abuse your child in broad daylight. But no, it's the sign that says children should have the freedom to learn without incursion or coercion, excuse me. That's the thing that's the problem, not the fact that this woman is abusing her kid. People with the names Phoebe are always a problem. Let's just get it out there. They're always a problem. Why are people going nuts? Why are people dismissing science and history in favor of conspiracy theories? And most importantly, how could we nudge this nation in a saner direction? I was especially curious about activist groups that specifically target suburban women. These groups seemed intent on making life more dangerous for my child. According to my local right-wing women's groups, masks should not be allowed in school. Yeah, I mean, the Moms for Liberty really started protesting masks, if I'm correct about that. I think I'm correct about that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. They told us to stop worrying about our kids dying of COVID. How many kids have died of COVID? Like, in the previous paragraph, she just told us to trust the science. How many kids have died of COVID in New Hampshire? They were also vocal about not wanting racism. It's deep, formative history in the United States to be taught. Nope, that's not actually what the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire bans, Phoebe. The anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire is like 4 pages long. It's not long to read. It's shorter than this article. It's not what the bill bans. And I've covered that extensively on this channel for people who are curious about that. Some of these people literally do not believe white privilege exists, according to them. The Union soldiers who fought in the Civil War were overwhelmingly white. No, I don't understand that argument either. Others feel parts of our country's history shouldn't be included in curriculums if it makes people, namely white people, feel uncomfortable. Every teacher I know was struggling with COVID restrictions and dealing with students venting their post-pandemic trauma with increasingly disruptive behaviors. Here's a question I have. Has anyone been noticing lately about how the teachers' unions and the journalists are all complaining about how put upon the teachers are? There's a tweet from Randy Weingarten last night. Hang on a second. There was a tweet from Randy Weingarten last night that I tweeted. I just want to pull it up because this is doing the same thing. Oh, there was also, side note, there was also a fabulous article in the New York Post last night about male darkling beetles giving oral sex to females to impress them before mating. I'm not kidding. This is probably the greatest article I have ever read in an American newspaper, and I strongly encourage you all to read it. I'm not going to read it. It reads like 50 Shades of Grey for Beatles, but it is a fucking fantastic article, and I strongly encourage everyone to enjoy it for what it is. All right, where is this thing from Randy Weingarten? Hang on. Where is it? I know I should have been more prepared, guys. I'm sorry. This was a last-minute stream. Where the hell? All right. Apparently, I didn't tweet something from Randy Weingarten, but it was basically saying it was like these poor teachers. These poor teachers are so burnt out. And my comment was essentially something to the effect of like, why in every article I'm reading about education, why does the left, the teachers unions, the Democrats, the journalists, why do they always put the needs of the teachers over the needs of the students? I know I effing tweeted this. What the hell? Why can't I find this? Hang on. I'm determined, guys. You're just going to have to bear with me a second. I know I effing tweeted this. Not that. Not that. I did tweet this too. Can we please go back to the days of paying public school teachers shitty salaries with awful benefits? I absolutely... Here it is. Here it is. I knew it. I fucking found it. Okay, so Randy Weingarten yesterday tweets, teachers are bone tired. It's the one thing that I could wish for this new year would be outside polarization and forces that are attempting to create division between parents and teachers. Let them take a rest. Why is every single group putting the welfare of teachers ahead of the welfare of students? Teachers are always mentioned first. Teacher stress levels are always mentioned first. Teacher burnout is always mentioned first. Why aren't we talking about what is going on with the students? And then having a discussion about what the teachers need to do and change to support those students. This should not be about parents doing everything they can to bend the knee and kiss the asses of teachers who are just working so hard on their 4-day work weeks because so many of them are taking Fridays off now. I have no sympathy for teachers at all. And I feel bad for the good teachers that exist. I really do, because there are good teachers out there. There are. But I'm sorry, you're bad apples, and there are a lot of them, are giving you a bad name right now. I'm going to be honest. When I believe there is going to be a mental health crisis of epic proportion among the youngest generation that we have, I do not give a flying F if teachers have burnout. Burnout is a fixable problem. Every single human being experiences burnout at some point. I am burnt out right now. It is a fixable problem. Get your shit together. Go take a vacation. Go meditate. Go to the spa. Go eat a nice dinner. Stop reading the effing news. There's so many things that you can do to prevent burnout. You are the adults. You have to take care of yourself. The children cannot take care of themselves when the adults want all the goddamn attention. I'm sorry, this is a side note rant, but it just really pisses me off. Why are we putting teachers at the forefront when we should be putting students at the forefront? That is what all of us are paying for the schools for, not for the teachers to feel merry and rosy and get a foot massage every fucking day, but for the students to be taught how to read and write and do math so they can function as capable adults when they hit the real world. I'm sorry. I had to get that out of my system. School districts across the country are dealing with staffing shortages due to teachers burning out from stress. Why add to teachers' difficulties by threatening school instructors who dare to teach topics like Jim Crow laws, the civil rights movement, and the repercussions of slavery in America? In the state of New Hampshire, none of these things are banned in the classroom. That is an absolute and total lie. And if Phoebe had taken the time to read the 4-page anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire that is shorter than her article, she would have learned that. If she had done any journalism at all, she would have learned that. To learn more, I joined a local right-wing Facebook group for moms. It's a private group that requires aspiring members to answer questions before they're granted entry. One question was, why do I want to join? I replied, I want to be more involved in my kids' school. A week passed, and then a moderator for the group contacted me privately. Can you be more specific about what issue concerns you? Probably looked at your Facebook page, saw you had pictures of masks all over it, and made some assumptions about that. Yikes. Security was apparently very tight in this group. Apparently not tight enough, but that's no one's fault. And I just want to emphasize that. It is no one's fault that this happened. This stuff happens, man. People lie on the internet. It is what it is. No one's to blame. No one should feel bad. They weren't going to let just any mom glide into in using a few generic answers. I'm mostly interested in issues that involve keeping kids physically in school, I messaged back. Zoom school was devastating for my kid, and I don't want that to happen again. I wasn't lying about any of that. It's one of the few opinions I share with many conservative parents. The moderator sent me a thumbs up emoji and let me into the group. Once inside, I found members were all stripes of Republican. No, that's completely wrong. This particular group is mostly libertarian. They're not, well, some of them are, but mostly libertarians. Several moms argued against the more far-right posters. One woman posted an objection to a child reading To Kill a Mockingbird in class. See, this is where Moms for Liberty, guys, starts to lose me. I'm sorry. They've got to stop with the effing books. They need to stop. I refuse to support any organization that is trying to ban books. I'm not talking about the porn, because we've all seen images of like the cartoons with the actual porn. That doesn't belong in schools. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things like To Kill a Mockingbird and goddamn Ruby Bridges. Conservatives need to stop trying to ban books. It's so stupid. It's like, you're going to ruin everything. Divisive concepts, she wrote with a broken heart emoji. No, that's not what To Kill a Mockingbird is. And I didn't see that in the group, so I don't know what she's talking about. Underneath I'm not saying it's not there. I don't really go there that often, but I'm just saying I didn't see it. Underneath was a screenshot of a direct message from someone who appeared to be a student that read, I'm in English now. We're currently reading To Kill a Mockingbird. There's a part where Calpurnia brings the kids to church with her, and her black woman and another black woman is being extremely racist towards Scout and Jem. My teacher was saying it was not racism because white people have a higher power over black people in society and black people can't be racist. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it? That makes a little bit more sense. So when they were talking about racism, unlike what the beginning of this paragraph does, it's not about To Kill a Mockingbird at all. I take it back. I apologize, Moms for Liberty, for jumping to an assumption there. I apologize. What they were saying is how the teacher framed it was racist. Got it. They're saying that when the teacher said that it was not racism because white people have higher power over black people in society and black people can't be racist, they're talking about the teacher's framing of it. I'm not entirely sure that didn't break the anti-CRT law in New Hampshire. If that was what was actually said in the class, I'm not entirely sure that did not actually break the law. It's skirting on the line of the law. That's for sure. It is absolutely skirting on the line of the law. I'm not sure if it broke it or not. That we got to put a pin in that one and come back to it. There were several indignant emoji reactions in response to the post. One mom, however, pushed back and said, well, she commented, the woman at the church complained that Calpurnia had brought white children to black church, possibly one of the few places black people felt any sense of freedom and safety. It's a little absurd to call the woman racist given the context. This comment got a couple likes and no pushback. I mean, whatever. That doesn't really mean anything. Another surprise I found in the Facebook group was that some huge media outlets were giving them a platform. One of the founders of the group posted that she had done an interview with the New York Times as part of a story on parental rights. The New York Times! I was dumbfounded. One of the women who ran the pro-Democrat Indivisible group in my town even managed to get an interview with a local paper. I mean, Indivisible was all over the leftist media. Please. That's just not true. I scanned the comments and my eyes nearly popped out of my head. It'll be fine, another mom wrote after the initial. She assumed I was a mom, by the way. Wrote after the initial poster expressed concern about the New York Times possibly misquoting her. It's a lesson I learned the hard way after the BBC screwed me. The BBC, the BBC was talking to these women. I had to know more. But apparently, she didn't care enough to know more to Google me when I said I had been talked to by the BBC. And again, for those of you who just got here, it's not as though she didn't have my name. I'll show you. This is the actual post in the actual Facebook group. It has my name on it. If she was really like, oh my God, these women talk to the BBC, she could have just effing Googled me and found out. She didn't even bother to do that. So much for being curious and a real journalist. Also didn't even know that I'm not even a mom. My God. And I want to say this too. There, like, I was looking in this group earlier. Like, the moms were like, this woman didn't even ask them questions. This woman didn't even bother to ask them questions. Like, they were saying in the group earlier today, they're like, we would have totally like answered questions had she just been honest. Like, they were more than open to having a conversation with this woman, and she didn't even try. Unfortunately, a lot of the moms have become suspicious of me. Probably because you brought your kid masked to the meeting. Perhaps I liked too many comments by moms pushing back against the anti-CRT posts. Perhaps some moderators found the very liberal comments that I had posted on other public news articles. In any case, when I expressed interest in joining the in-person roundtable discussion event, I saw that the location of the event suddenly disappeared. I messaged the group moderator about the event location. Just a heads up, she mentioned back. I think most people will not be masking. Is that something you'll be comfortable with? I wondered if she was trying to frighten me off. Yes, that's fine, I replied. You literally brought your kid in a mask to the meeting. Like, did you think that they didn't make you the minute that you walked in the flipping door, man? I never received the location, but luckily I had written it down before it disappeared from the event post. Oh, super sleuth. I drove to the meeting with my son. The group moderator had been right. When I joined the meeting, I saw that nobody in the packed room was masked. I gritted my teeth and sat down anyway. I was fully vaccinated and my son wore a mask. He was the only one. And you think they didn't understand who you were? I listened to the speakers at the meeting. Well, they discussed how to run for campaign and pressure school boards. Many parents bemoaned how they had to pull their kids from public schools over mask mandates and instead enroll them in private schools. It was well, again, I was not at this specific meeting, but a lot of these parents are more like homeschooling or doing pods, I believe. I don't know that for sure, but like my impression is that it's more like homeschool and like homeschool pods sort of thing. Sixties Pixie says she didn't put Carlin's name because she was afraid people might look her up and find out the truth. Dude, I doubt she even bothered to Google me. I strongly doubt she even bothered to Google me. I don't even think it was that thought through. I think that she was lazy. It was a common story. And by the way, like what so what if parents pulled their kids out of public school to put them in private school? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying that parents should have the choice to do whatever they want to educate their children. I don't, again, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of them are more like homeschool or charter school or things like that. It was a common story. I got the impression that most of the families had income levels that allowed them to pay thousands in private school fees because they wanted to take a stand on masks. I was probably the poorest person there. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. Not every private school is tens of thousands of dollars. And in New Hampshire now, we have education freedom accounts, which allows parents to have at least some subsidy if they want to put their kids in private school if they meet certain income thresholds. There was a lot of anger directed at teachers. Rat out those teachers, one mother instructed. Yes, that mother learned from me. Find a lawyer who can challenge these teachers. Another woman disdainfully noted that teachers don't even know what they're doing half the time. They just pull it off the internet. A third woman said there is no discipline for teachers outside of taking away their credentials. The battle lines were clearly drawn. I raised my hand. I said, what do you say to people who are like, oh, I'm going to put bounties on teachers' heads? You're marching outside of the school board members with guns. School board members are getting death threats and feeling terrorized. Wow. Okay. So this particular Moms for Liberty group is and they might be pissed at me for saying this, whatever. I don't care. I didn't ask permission before I did this stream. I'm just going to tell what the truth is. This particular Moms for Liberty group that she infiltrated is the one that did the $500 bounty. Moms for Liberty National, and I've heard this from multiple different people, are not happy about the $500 bounty. My opinion is that the $500 bounty is the best press that Moms for Liberty ever could have gotten and ever has gotten thus far. I think it's awesome. I think it was an awesome idea. It was fun. But there is infighting, and this is part of the reason I'm so turned off on Moms for Liberty right now as a national organization, because they look a gift horse in the mouth. And so it wouldn't actually surprise me if there would have been moms in this group that would have been hesitant to talk about the $500 bounty, just because I think they're probably getting shit for it. I don't know that for sure, but that's my impression. But like to say you're marching outside of school boards members' homes with guns. I'm sorry, what? No one said that. I don't think anyone's done that. I don't think school board members are getting death threats and feeling terrorized. Okay. Last week on this channel, I read the lawsuit that the teachers in New Hampshire filed against the state for the anti-CRT bill. And do you guys want to know what that death threat was? Hang on, I'll pull it up. I will show you the death threat that teachers have gotten. I have it on my screen. I have it in my, hang on. Shoot, open. I have it right here. Let me show you what teachers consider to be a death threat. Okay, this is Exhibit A. Hang on. Stop share. This is Exhibit A from the lawsuit that the teachers filed in New Hampshire over the anti-CRT bill. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to see the death threat that forced a teacher to get private home security? Are you guys ready? Are you sure you can handle the death threat that was in the lawsuit the teachers in New Hampshire filed against the anti-CRT bill? Here it is. I know, it's hard. It's hard. It was a Facebook message that said, "What up, homo? I heard you're teaching Marxist commie CRT in your classrooms. You can fuck right off with that garbage human." That's the threat. That is the only exhibit. That is it. This is the only exhibit that was presented as a threat in the lawsuit that the teachers filed against the state of New Hampshire regarding the anti-CRT bill. This freaked one teacher out so much he had to install a personal security system. He got a mean message on Facebook. Holy shit. That's it. Guys, if you would not feel particularly threatened by a mean message on Facebook, please make sure you mount that like button for me as we're making our way through this article. I swear to God, that's the only thing. You guys, if you guys don't believe me, you can look it up. I swear to God. Okay. I could see several women visibly flinch at the word bounty. Yes, because they're getting shit for it from Moms for Liberty National, because Moms for Liberty National is acting stupid. One woman said she disliked the term bounty, but she could see the need for monetary compensation for those who turn in teachers that were doing things parents found unacceptable. And by found unacceptable, you probably mean breaking the law. This is where, I'm sorry, this is where conservatives need to find their balls. Even if they're women, they need to find their balls and say, if teachers are breaking the law, those teachers should be exposed. I don't care if you did suspect she was a leftist, which I'm sure you probably did because she brought her kid wearing a mask. And I'm sure was generally acting like a leftist and looked kind of crazy. But if someone asks you, how do you feel about the term bounty? You say, if teachers are breaking the law, then they deserve to be exposed. Don't apologize to these people. If there is one thing that I hope people on the right learn from me at some point, is to not apologize to these people when you are not doing anything wrong. They will always try to make you feel like you are doing something wrong. You are not doing anything wrong. I'm going to say that again. You are not doing anything wrong. If you are not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to apologize for. Every time you allow yourself to feel like you're doing something wrong by making teachers be accountable to what they are teaching and saying, you will not break the law when I am leaving my children in your hands, you're giving these people what they want. Articles like this is all 100% about making you feel like you're doing something wrong or thinking something wrong or saying something wrong every second of every day. These people want you to be just as miserable as they are. Every time you allow them to make you feel like you are doing something wrong, you are giving them power over you. You're giving them power over you. That's what they want. That's what they're trying to achieve. Don't let them win. Stand your ground. Say, well, if that's what it takes to expose teachers who are breaking the law, then that's what it takes to expose teachers who are breaking the law. And then you look them in the eye and you do not apologize. You don't flinch. I kind of doubt anyone flinched, to be really honest. But if they did, there are no repercussions for teachers who break the law, she said. If we have to offer monetary compensation for people to report teachers, I see no problem with that. It's incentive for people to wake up. It wasn't clear what laws these teachers were supposedly breaking. So far as I could tell, teachers, like everyone else, got punished if they broke laws. So Phoebe doesn't even apparently know. Does Phoebe, professional journalist, do so little research that she didn't even know that there's an anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire that passed last year? It's unclear to me what laws they're breaking. I mean, it was kind of a big deal. Such a competent, capable journalist right here, Huffington Post. Impressive. Another woman raised her hand. Look, I know we want to change school board, she said, but elections aren't until 2023. What do we do until then? We can't just sit around and let them attack our kids. We have to do something. I caught a gleam in a woman's eye I didn't like. Was there some flirtation? Oh my ever-loving God. Okay, I have to start reading this. Okay, we're gonna read the previous paragraph again because this is just insane. This is total dramatic reading time. Elections aren't until 2023. What do we do until then? We can't just sit around and let them attack our kids. We have to do something. I'm sure that it was not at all like it was said. And then Phoebe says, I caught a gleam in the woman's eye that I didn't like. Was there some flirtation with insurrection being suggested here? What exactly was she saying? Furball says, journalist? I prefer the term content creator. That's probably a much more accurate term. Yep. Another woman nodded. Listen, we've tried playing nice, but they just dig in their heels and dig in their heels. We have to start being not so nice. Absolutely. You have to start being not so nice. Absolutely. Stop being nice to these people. Stop being nice to these people. These people don't deserve your respect. They don't deserve your consideration. They don't deserve your kindness. They don't deserve your empathy. Listen, I understand that there is probably an inclination for you to want to act like reasonable people because most of you are reasonable people. But what you have to understand is that every single time you act like a reasonable person when you're dealing with people like this, or even better, when you're dealing with people, not that, like this. Hang on, now my live stream is playing on. Hang on. There we go. When you are dealing with people who look like this, you do not act like a reasonable person. Every single time you act like a reasonable person when you're dealing with people who look like this, they will take advantage of you and they will use it against you. Even if it makes you feel bad, even if it makes you feel guilty, even if it makes you feel like, ooh, I'm not being my best self today. Listen, you can go meditate and do a gratitude list before you go to bed, all right? Do not behave like a reasonable person with these people because they will take advantage of it every single time. And when they take advantage of it, they gain power. They're trying to destroy Western society. Stop allowing them to. I didn't like where this discussion was going. The moderator guided the topic back to safer ground. Be pleasantly persistent, she smiled. Be annoying. Be the woman in the school board meetings who always shows up. Be the person who, when the meeting organizer sees you, says, oh God, her again. Be that person. And please try to get people to vote in municipal elections. Yeah, I think that's really good advice. So essentially what happened is these women were like, what can we do until the next school board election? Good. Okay, again, picture in your head, moms. These are moms sitting around a dining room table saying, well, we don't get the next school board election until 2023. What do we do? What do we do to fight back? Phoebe, probably over in the corner with her kid wearing a mask, says, oh my God, they're about to plan an insurrection. And then the mom says, well, you just got to go to the school board meetings and be persistent and keep showing up and keep saying what you want to say. And you're supposed to, Phoebe, you're expecting us to believe these women are Nazis because they're talking about going to school board meetings and being pleasantly persistent? My God. Fair enough. A lot of roundtable debate felt like a Republican version of a run for something meeting. Run for something was a movement started after Donald Trump won the presidency that was meant to encourage young progressives to start their own campaigns for local office. Yeah, I mean, this is actually true enough. The right-wing women's group seemed to be following the same model, but there was an undercurrent of rage among the group members that I had never seen in a run for something meeting. An undercurrent of rage. Yes, someone saying, be pleasantly persistent is absolutely an undercurrent of rage. Undercurrent of rage. I'm going to make Phoebe into an emoji for my channel members. That's absolutely going to happen. If you join, I'm making a Phoebe emoji. I'm pulling the picture onto my desktop right now. Phoebe now for all time on my channel will be the custom emoji when I get it done. I'm not going to do it right this second as we're streaming. But like for all time now, if you become a member of my channel, Phoebe will be the emoji that we will use to denote leftist journalism. I'll put it on the Discord too, Nathan. I'll figure out how to use the Discord. All right. Despite my uneasiness, I couldn't help but find myself liking the women in the room. Oh, no, they were very nice women, huh? They were charismatic. They were energetic. They had no problem letting my low-functioning autistic son play with their children, which is unfortunately rare among a lot of mothers I've encountered. So you're saying that these moms welcomed you into their home, made you feel like you were a member of the group, let your son play with their kids, and you're writing an article about them calling them Nazis because you disagree with them and because you apparently don't know the laws in the state that you're living in? Didn't even bother to read the law in the state that you're living in? But this made me even more uneasy. Oh, it made her even more uneasy that the moms were nice. I realized these women were dangerous precisely because they were so friendly. Their condemnation of history lessons about Ruby Bridges and Jim Crow laws and Dr. Martin Luther King were repulsive. I strongly doubt that any of this happened in this group. Because, and I say that specifically because when I spoke to this group, I specifically talked about the Ruby Bridges thing and said, don't do this shit. And I didn't get any argument. I strongly doubt that that is a lie. I strongly doubt that any of that happened in this group. I could be wrong. I've only been to one meeting. They're trying to suppress the truth by labeling the unassailable facts of racism in the U.S. as divisive. Equality, diversity, and inclusion were not virtues to be celebrated, but trigger words with poisonous intent. Not equality, equity. That's wrong. This is nefariously clever bit of relabeling disgusted me. There was a very clear far-right agenda at work here. Groups like the one I joined often appeal to mothers. The pandemic has hit moms especially hard. Lack of childcare has resulted in a she session, with thousands of women leaving the workforce to take care of children. Lonely, frustrated, financially stressed people tend to be prime targets for radical groups. These right-wing groups offer a sense of community and friendship to the women who are isolated at homes with their kids. It can be frighteningly easy for some people to start nodding along with all the rhetoric about the evils of critical race theory and COVID conspiracy theories if the women espousing them are also offering you coffee and friendship and childcare and making you feel heard and seen. So you're saying, again, that these women were really nice and took care of your kid, let your kid play with other kids, which apparently your kid doesn't have occasion to do all that often. And you think it was all a clever ploy to get you to engage in conspiracy theories. You know what? There's a word for this. I want to pop quiz for the chat. If someone is saying the only reason that you're nice to me is because you want to convince me to do something, what are they usually doing? Starts with a P. If someone is saying to you, the only reason that you're being nice to me right now is because you want to trick me, what are they doing? Starts with a P. Projection. They say it because they are the ones doing it. Projection. Always, always, always assume the ironclad law of woke projection. Anytime you are reading an article in the Huffington Post or Salon or Slate or Vice or the New York Times or the Washington Post, always, 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 always assume there will be projection. I'm still currently a member of the local right-wing women's Facebook group. Not anymore. It has helped me to understand where these people are coming from and just how motivated they are. My membership could end up being rescinded. However, I plan to attend a few upcoming school board meetings to defend the accurate and honest teaching of all parts of American history, especially in regard to racism and what it is meant to be Black in this country. Well, good luck, Phoebe, because we've already passed the law against it. We've already passed the law against it. You're too late. I can't stop thinking about the gleam in the woman's eye as she said, "We just can't sit around and let them attack our kids. We have to do something." Though some people think merely tweeting our outrage or frustration is productive, it's not. Those of us fighting against the far right need to be more aware of how energetic and organized they're becoming and the lengths they're willing to go to in order to get their way. Right-wing activists are attending school board meetings in hopes of transforming our child's education and ultimately their lives and the future of the United States. It's time for us to be just as active to ensure this doesn't happen. We must fight for our child's safety and their right to learn our nation's history, even the ugly parts, especially the ugly parts. After all, when ugly history gets ignored, it tends to get repeated. So, in summary, Phoebe is annoyed because a group of women that she doesn't agree with, that took her into their home, that treated her very well, that gave her kids someone to play with even though he was wearing a mask. She's pissed that they're going to school board meetings and saying what she thinks, and she's like, if you're going to go to a school board meeting, then I'm going to go to a school board meeting because I want to make sure you are not engaging in dangerous insurrection. Wow. Weren't you supposed to attack her for having the only masked child? You hid your evil ways somehow by being expecting and by being accepting and nice to both of them. Listen, man, it's not the kid's fault. It's not the kid's fault his mother is a psycho. It's not the kid's fault his own mother is abusing him by making him wear a mask all the time outside. This is precisely and exactly the type of reporting that I expect from the Huffington Post, which is why I don't read the Huffington Post, which is why I ignored all of this to begin with. And the only reason I even read it was because I was accidentally quoted in it. But that was fun. That was a fun exercise, guys. Hey, listen, I don't really have anything else for this stream today. I thought for some reason I thought the article was like much longer than it was. So that's really all I have for right this second. I did do a stream yesterday that if you missed it, it was like an early stream. I'm going to make some clips of it today, but I did a great stream yesterday with Frank McCormick and with Paul Rossi, and we were talking about education from their perspective, both being teachers. Frank currently a teacher, Paul kind of like very recently being a teacher. It was an awesome conversation. If you want to watch that, that is up on the channel right now. I'm going to be making some clips of it today. If you want the shorter chunks leveled out. That's really all I have for today, guys. If you would like some more, please consider joining me at kb.locals.com. And we'll be talking in there. And also, of course, you can become a supporter in there. And that unlocks all the features of Locals. You can join for free just to check it out, but you want to unlock all the features to get access to the comments and all the special stuff. Again, $5 a month. So, dude, I got like a $5 cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts the other day. I don't know what the hell happened. Like, when did Dunkin' Donuts become like Starbucks? But anyway, for the same price of a cup of coffee that apparently you can get at Dunkin' Donuts now, $5 a month. You can do the annual membership for $50 a year. You can make a one-time gift if you like. And what that's going to get you, not only this year, because we have a community Zoom tomorrow. We have one tomorrow at noon. We also have a couple community Zooms next week. But in 2022, I'm going to be changing up the schedule in Locals. This is only for 2022, guys, so we're not quite there yet for my Locals members. We're still doing it the same way for another like week and a half or week. Not even a week and a half. I can't even tell time. But in 2022, we will be doing 2 open community calls on Mondays and Wednesdays. We will be doing Craft and Bitch once a month. I'm going to be adding in some small group discussions. We're going to be adding in some book clubs. We're going to be doing lots of stuff in Locals, but only for supporters. These are supporters only perks. So make sure you sign up. I would love to meet you guys. Listen, man, it's been a tough year. What I love about my Locals community is that we all help each other out. We all support each other. We keep each other sane. My Locals have done more for me in the past, a week, especially than I can even begin to thank them for. They really are just like the greatest people in the world. I don't have the biggest community on Locals, but I really do think I have the best community on Locals. And I want to welcome you guys into it as well. It's an amazing place to be. Super supportive, great people. But guys, that's all I have for right this second. And I will be back. I'm going to do some content tomorrow. I don't know that I'm going to stream tomorrow, but I'm going to do content tomorrow. And then, of course, on Friday, we're going to have our usual happy hour. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean we won't do happy hour Friday at 3 p.m. I'm going to try my very best to find some sort of like Santa Claus is racist or Christmas is white supremacy training. I don't know. I'm going to try to find a special holiday training. If any of you guys have ideas, let me know. But guys, that's all I have for right this second. Take care. We'll see you soon.